Sunday night felt completely normal. The house had powered down, dishwasher's running, there's a lamp still in the living room. That kind of end of the weekend exhale. And I laid down, rolled onto my side, pulled the blanket up, and the room shifted. Not violently, just enough motion to make me open my eyes and stare at the ceiling like, okay, what was that? And I blinked a few times, stayed still. It didn't stop. Hey, it's Craig, and this is 1 Minute Later, the place where ordinary moments take a turn, and you don't always see it coming. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's uncomfortable, and sometimes it's a Sunday night where the ceiling starts moving and you realize your body has plans you weren't consulted on. So let's go ahead and get on into it. Well, this caught me off guard, and my first thought wasn't heart attack. It was blood sugar. You know, that made sense. Dizziness? Sure. Blood sugar. So I slipped out of bed, walked into the bathroom, grabbed the blood sugar reader. I'm not diabetic, but we have one, and in that moment, it felt like the most logical place to start. And I checked it. Completely normal. So what's causing this dizziness? I grabbed the blood pressure cuff, wrapped it around my arm, sat there in the quiet, tried to breathe like a calm adult, and the machine started squeezing, and then it beeped. 167/133. I stared at it for a second like maybe it needed a minute to reconsider that. It did not reconsider. There's something about numbers that makes everything feel real. You can debate a feeling. You can explain away dizziness. But when a screen gives you numbers that high, your brain shifts gears. And because it was late and my judgment was already questionable, I opened up my phone. And yeah, Dr. Google saw those numbers and basically started measuring me for a hospital bracelet. According to the internet, I had about 6 minutes left and I should probably start updating my will. So I told my wife, Jen, and she's like, okay, I'll stay home with the kids. The hospital is only a few blocks from our house. But she had that steady voice, not panicked, just clear. Go. And it's kind of strange driving yourself to the ER. I mean, the streets were empty, traffic lights cycling for no one, and I remember thinking how normal everything looked outside the windshield while my insides felt really off. And the ER at night, it's kind of its own little world too. Fluorescent lights and soft footsteps in the hallway, that faint smell of antiseptic, and of course coffee that's been sitting too long. And they hooked me up to the wires, put an IV in my arm. Machines started humming, blinking, and beeping. It's kind of like I joined some strange late-night hospital band. And then it got quiet. And the dizziness eased up. The numbers slowly started settling. Nurses came in and out, calm, unhurried. But lying there in the dark, staring at ceiling tiles with wires taped to your chest, your mind gets pretty loud. And I started praying. And at first it was simple. Lord, I trust you. And then, almost immediately, the questions crept in. Did I really mean it all those years ago when I surrendered my life to Christ? I mean, was I fully sincere? Did I hold something back? And it's wild how fast doubt can show up when you're vulnerable. And I recognized what was happening because that's how the enemy works. When you're stressed, when you're tired, when your defenses are down, he doesn't need to shout. He just nudges thoughts into the room and lets them echo. What if you didn't mean it? What if you're not actually secure? Lying there in the dark, those whispers felt heavy. But Romans 8 actually came into mind. Not the whole chapter, just the anchor of it. And it says that nothing, not death, not life, not what's happening right now, not what might happen next, nothing separates us from the love of God in Jesus Christ. And I lay there and let that truth push back at the enemy. God knows my heart. He knows the 18-year-old version of me. He knows the me lying in the hospital bed with hospital tape on my skin and, of course, doubt in my head. He's not confused about my surrender. He's not surprised by my fear. And he's not grading the emotional intensity of the moment. So the enemy may throw questions, but God's not wringing his hands. The realization brought a wave of relief, actually, that had nothing to do with my blood pressure. And by morning, the numbers had settled. The tests came back clear. Healthy. Yay, right? The doctor gave me instructions, told me to follow up, and just like that, the crisis shrank back down to size. I drove the few blocks home in the daylight. Same streets, same houses, completely ordinary. The blood pressure numbers changed. The machines quieted. And that thing that felt the most solid in that entire building wasn't attached to me with wires. It was a steady reminder that God's got this. Even when your head spins, even when the screen flashes big numbers, even when your doubt tries to borrow your voice in the dark. Sunday night started completely normal. By Monday morning, so did I. But I walked away knowing this: fear can get loud, but God doesn't have to.